I define culture as the atmosphere that results from the decisions you make in accomplishing the purpose of your business, right? In other words, it's what it feels like to be a part of your community. And the reason it feels that way is because all the things that you do and you don't do, right? Culture is what do we do here, right? How do we do that here? You're talking about culture when you bring someone in your organization and you go, oh, we would never do that here, right? or let me show you how we handle this here, right? It's those things, all those things that, it's knowing how to behave as a part of that group. And it results in this atmosphere where people know how to interact with each other, how you handle problems and all that stuff. And all those decisions, they're all driven by our values and beliefs, both as individuals and as groups. They develop this. And so in our company, the reason that a third of the people in the company answer the same way is because most of them, a lot of them, had been in meetings with my dad. They had seen, like, when we're in a meeting, we got this big thing we got to decide, what he does and how he talks about it. And they go, oh, okay, got it. I guess that means then, this is the way we're going to do that here. And this is, how we're going to think about, and this is how we're going to communicate to each other and all that sort of thing. He didn't have to say the words because they picked that up from him. And if you think about culture, like how you learn culture, one of my favorite little quotes is that most lessons are caught, not taught. Most of the really important lessons we learn in life is because of either an experience, something that we go through with others, or the second way that culture is taught is through storytelling, right? This is the hey, let me tell you about, this time, let me tell you about your grandfather who was in World War II. Let me tell you about your, great grandmother who was a slave and how that happened. It's that storytelling, and all of it gives you the context for understanding the why behind the actions. This is why we do what we do. Not from the, everybody's seen the Simon Sinek TED Talk, which is great, but it's not like, the why. This is the belief that we have around things that work or don't work that determines how we handle certain situations and react to them. And so as I was going through the transition with my dad, in leadership, I went, wow, okay, we have this great culture. We're not even maybe totally sure why we have it. I got to figure that out. But I do know that because we went through this, I've learned that a lot of it is because people have had this exposure and they've seen, and it's kind of trickulated down. But here's the problem. We're now at a point where most of our leaders, much less all of our associates, most of our leaders may not even ever meet my dad, right? They're not going to have the opportunity to sit in the meeting and have the conversations and all that sort of thing. And so how do I scale this? Like, if I really believe that this is a part of our success and part of our kind of magic formula here, how do I do this? And so that's when we decided, that's frankly when I started doing a lot of the research that led to the book. The purpose of the book, by the way, was totally 100% targeted to our leaders inside our organization. It was walking them through, look, I want you to understand what culture is, where it comes from as a leader, how you impact it. And then I want you to understand the values and beliefs that we have, those principles we hold dear, the things that we think work. We want you to understand what those are so that you can know how to make the decisions in the business, and that you can model and teach, but model this for the people that you get to lead. And so we really started being very, very purposeful about that as a way to help scale our culture. So here's what I would say. Everyone will eventually figure out what you really value, what you really believe, because they're going to figure it out by your actions. And one of the warnings I like to give people in my speeches at the end, I'm like, look, if you're going to be like out there about this, you had better be honest, because we have all heard of or been a part of those organizations that have the corporate values on the wall, and everybody's like, yeah, I don't know what that is, but those don't get applied at all, right? I mean, they're going to know what's real. The only question is, how long does it take them to figure it out? Right? They're going to figure out what really actually drives you because they're going to see it in the decisions you make. The question is how long it figures out. The ones who are opt-in, who are bought in, they're incredible. I mean, it's and by the way, one of the things I like to say about culture is, we often, think about culture as kind of the ooey gooey relationship, kind of stuff, and some of it is, but this is not limited to that. Your culture drives everything that you do, including, perhaps most importantly, how you interact with your customers. I tell leaders all the time. I was like, if I really want to learn your culture, I'm going to look at how you handle customers who are upset or something's gone wrong, because that's going to show what you really actually believe, right? And so when you have people that are opted in, that are bought in to your culture, they get the values, they get, this is why we do what we do. I identify with that, and they apply it in fantastic ways, and you get tremendous quality, tremendous service, all that sort of thing.